Alright, guys. So I just got home. Got home not too long ago, actually. I'm just sort of a bit behind on the 8-ball. Right. Just trying to think, do I want to... Do we want to do 4 stories today? There is this story about them going after the 18 prosecutors. Oh, so not prosecutors, election thingies. So there's 16 DAs that have been charged under the Biden administration over in Michigan. I think it's just to stop Trump from running. I'm just trying to find the story. I think it was in Michigan. That's not how you spell it, but... can't find that article. I was just reading about it. I refreshed Google and it's gone. There you go, Michigan. Sort of breaking news, actually. It's just happening. I'll retweet it. Right, let's get started, I suppose. Do I cover Michigan? Dark Brandon. Wow, that's such a bad name. And and we covered Snow White. Alright guys, how are we all? Sorry guys about that. Alright. We're going to go through and we'll break down the news for the day, the goss, and then I can go to bed hopefully. I didn't sleep much last today. Alright. I don't have a co-host at the moment, and I'm not sure if he's around or not. I don't think he is, but let's know. Well, no, who knows? Maybe he'll jump in. All right. Oh, god damn it! I just clicked the wrong button. There we go. All right. Thank God for the back button. All right, guys. Guys, welcome to Unbiased Perspectives podcast number 8. I think it is. We're up to. Today, obviously, we're going to break down MTG, obviously going after Biden, and obviously then apparently them flipping it back. And why Dark Brandon's a really bad name, but anyway. We've got Disney facing backlash for Snow White. We've got crime over in mostly Democratic cities is going through the roof. And we'll show some videos and talk about that. And then we got the Michigan who is charging 16 GOP activists who claimed that the election was stolen. So yeah, that's obviously breaking. But hopefully we'll get to that as well. Guys, so obviously first story for the day. Majority Taylor Greene. I'm mispronouncing the name. It's been a long day. Warns Joe Biden is trying to finish what FDR started by trying to address the problems related to royal poverty, education, and medical care. She warns it's similar to when LBJ passed Medicare and Medicaid. So let's hear what she has to say, and then we're going to see what happened with the White House, because they responded.
Lyndon B. Johnson is very similar to Joe Biden. How are they the same? They're both Democrat socialists. Lyndon B. Johnson was the majority leader in the Senate. Does that sound familiar? He was vice president to Kennedy. Joe was vice president to Obama. He was appointed as the president after JFK was assassinated. Then he was elected. His big socialist programs were the Great Society. The Great Society were big government programs to address education, medical care, urban problems, rural poverty, transportation, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and welfare, the Office of Economic Opportunity, and big labor and labor unions. Now, LBJ had the Great Society, but Joe Biden had Build Back Better, and he still is working on it. The largest public investment in social infrastructure and environmental programs that is actually finishing what FDR started, that LBJ expanded on, and Joe Biden is attempting to complete. Socialism. Meanwhile, we are now $32 trillion in debt. With record high homelessness, 40-year record inflation, we're losing the U.S. dollar as the #1 world currency. We're losing our freedoms. Our government is one big, fat, bloated machine. And it's killing the American dream. Our jobs are centered.
So, as for the speech that she's giving here, the first part of it probably was a bit of a waste. When she's going on about LBJ and FDR and all this sort of stuff, to be honest, the vast majority of people don't care. You know, like, I know who they are because obviously I was watching the interview with JFK's nephew, Robert Kennedy Jr. I know about that sort of stuff from that. But the vast majority of people don't know about it, don't care about it, and it's just a waste of time. She would have been better off just getting straight into the point and talking about how he's, about like record unemployment, record homelessness, crimes going through the roof. Sometimes people really do get lost and they can't see the forest because of the tree. Can't see the forest because of the trees. She would have been far better off just cutting off the first part of this and just going to this.
Economic opportunity and big labor.
Just starting like from here would have been better. But at the end of the day, obviously the Democrats have responded. The White House responded. White House goes Dark Brandon on Majority Taylor Greene. I'm getting that name wrong. Flips attack back on her, says Huffington Post, which is obviously far left-leaning. They responded with "Caught us." The Biden White House mockingly responded to criticisms from the right Georgia lawmaker. She's not far right. Mayor Taylor Greene attacked President Joe Biden, went array. It prompted a mocking response from Biden's White House, which Twitter users suggested was Dark Brandon striking back at the extremist Republican once more. The problem I have with like Huffington Post and stuff is like all this extra filler. Striking back at the extremist Republican or, FR Republican. It's not needed. It's not true. She's not really that extreme for a Republican, to be honest. And she's definitely not far right. But this stuff here is written because they know that their base is going to lap it up. So Greene, over the weekend, slammed Biden's domestic policies during her speech at the Conservative Turning Point Action Student Activists Conference in Florida. Commenters Brian Taylor Cohan shared a video of Greene's speech with a short summary of her criticisms of President. Biden was trying to finish what FDR started in addressing rural poverty, education, and Medicare, Gene said. I believe that's the guy I actually saw the video from, was it? Yeah. Caught us, the official Twitter account for the White House fired back. President Biden is working on making life easier for hardworking families, it added. Now, the irony of this situation is that most people don't agree with that. The vast majority of people I've spoken to have said that the Biden economy is in the gutter. So how are you planning on making it easier for hardworking families when they can't even buy food? Twitter users enjoyed the response, and obviously they've gone through and selected their people that back up their statement. But I've saw people going through and on both sides claiming it was a win on both sides, which is ironic because they're both saying the same thing. But one's saying it's a win, the other's saying it's a win. It's like, well, you both kind of win, right? You both didn't win this. It's both sides kind of won. It's impossible for both sides to win. But at the end of the day, like I said, FTG would have been better off knocking some of this speech out because it was just boring. But yeah, at the end of the day, as for this, the Dark Brandon meme is hysterically funny, and not because they're right. It's because like you're literally claiming like someone is like to be Dark Brandon. It's like Dark Batman, for example, right? Was like evil. Like Dark Skywalker was evil, right? And you're claiming that Joe Biden is now evil by claiming he's Dark Brandon. Like you see how this is kind of not what you want? Like it sounds cool, but when you start breaking it down, Dark Brandon is a really bad term. But not to mention that, F. Joe Biden and Brandon and all that sort of stuff was actually from the mega side because of like the Let's Go Brandon thing, right? But all they're doing is they're just trying trying to steal the brand and use it for their own beliefs. And that's why they're using it there. Like I say, look, at the end of the day, as for MTG, I think the speech is boring. She would have been better off hammering things like the economy, hammering things like the, like, for example, unemployment or homelessness or crime rates. And I presume she obviously does get further into it. She does do that. But it's just the start of it was pretty boring. But let us know what your thoughts in the comment section below regarding that. Alright, second story for the day. Disney backlash. So Disney has backtracked after Snow White anti-woke campaign backlash. So what happened was, we got these photos from the set of Snow White. And a lot of people have gone through, and at the time, they so it was mostly the guys like over at Geeks and Gamers and all those sort of guys who got access to these photos and posted it. And they were basically lambasted as being a conspiracy theorist, and Disney came out and said that these were not set photos and blah, 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 blah. Tried to make them all look out to be like they were stupid. The only problem was that they were real set photos, and that the guys were actually right when they actually went through and posted them. So it kind of went bad for Snow White. So they might have none of these are going to have an unbiased opinion, are they? So politically correct Snow White photo sparks backlash. Is this the photo or? Yeah, so this is the first controversy they got themselves into, was over the actress. But then we had these photos, like I said, that came out. Yeah, and oh, by the way, it gets worse because they're now renamed the dwarfs to magical creatures. We'll get to that too, don't worry. Let's see if bounding into comics has something. Just trying to see. I presume they broke it down yesterday. There we are. Alright, so this was the original story that came out. I've got to fix my mouse. First set photos of Disney's live-action Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs remake are as destroyers, whatever, as expected. Obtained by UK publication company Click News and Media, shared the local news outlet the Daily Mail on the 14th of July. Photos provided audience with their first glimpses at the Disney princess's 7 iconic companions. Though Snow White and Jonathan, the Robin Hood-esque character replacement for the prince, can also be seen in the photos, they're being portrayed by stand-ins rather than the retrospective actors. So apparently it's Shazam's Fury of the Gods star Rachel Zelda, and Under the Banner of Heaven actor Andrew Burnip. depicting the film's core set of protagonists walking through a field. In the most noticeable aspect of behind the scenes shot is the fact that the so-called seven dwarfs are anything but. Rather, they are now suitably diverse in appearance, with their heights ranging and the gamut from the singular running the gauntlet from the singular actual little person that being Pirates of the Caribbean franchise stars matches the various size issues. Right, so instead of having dwarfs, they now have regular sized humans. I believe they do have one dwarf though, so you know. Cool. Check it out. Further, the visual diversity also extends the group's innumerable traits, such as their skin and gender. Rather than being a uniform group of white male dwarfs, shard a tribe informed by the original German folk, Snow White's saviors are now also dark men and women. Because diversity boxes. Well, that's true too, actually. When you go woke, you pretty much offend everybody. Although the cast of the group of the Merry Forest Dwellers has yet to be fully revealed, Disney thus far has confirmed that the aforementioned Kabbalah will be playing Grumpy, while actress Someone will be making her cinematic debut as one of the black female newcomers, Maple. Now, like I said, the thing is that they came out and they claimed that these photos were not real, that they were fake. Well, they're not actually telling the truth on that, because they've now had to walk it back and have actually admitted, no, they are actually from the set, but they're not real because we had stand-ins, apparently. So while the executive photos are from the set of Disney's live-action adaptation Snow White leaked last week, the internet reacted like someone had poisoned their apple, because people are sick of this stuff. The pictures, published by the Daily Mail, feature Snow White accompanied not by 7 little men, but by actors of different genders, ethnicities, and heights. Snow White and the 7 politically correct companions, pretty accurate actually, quickly made waves online. Conservative criticised the woke update. Then a Disney representative told the Daily Beast that the photos were fake and not from our production. Yeah. Or you can post it in here, actually. You should be able to post it in... DM me on Twitter. I'll check it out. I'll be interested, Checkbot, yeah. Fake and not from our production. Disney later reversed the claim and told the Daily Beast that the photos were from the set of Snow White, though they were not official photos. Okay, but that's not what you claimed. You claimed that they were fake and not from our production. But they are from your production. Like... adding to the confusion, the original Daily Mail article numerously reported that actors Rachel Zelda, slated to portray the fairest of them all, and Andrew Bunup were pictured. Gal Gadot is set to play the evil queen. It was Gazer and Bunup's stand-ins who were in the shot. Elsewhere on the internet, conservatives have made it clear they do not welcome the inclusive update to Disney's first princess. I must admit, though, she is hot. 7 white and a dwarf and some weirdos. I like that. Look, at the end of the day, if this is going anything by, like, any of the Disney stuff that's come out lately, you know, like Indiana Jones or The Little Mermaid, you'd smash her. Me too, actually. She's kind of hot. Any of that sort of stuff. Like, if any of this is a example of what not to do, they obviously haven't listened, because they've just dived straight into it yet again. At the end of the day, the only question really we have to ask about this is how much money is this going to lose? Like we've covered it several times here on the channel. You look at things like, for example, you look at Box Office Mojo and like Dial of Dysentery has gone through, and what's the box office for Indiana Jones now? Like, the movie is constantly getting beaten by Mission Impossible and Sound of Freedom. It's only made 1.5 million yesterday. Holy dooly. So at the moment, worldwide, it's sitting at $305 million. Now, it costs about $300 million to make it. So there's that. You've got about 100 to 150 million in marketing. So add that on top. So you're looking at about 450 million. And then the box office takes, at the very least, half, right? I know in some places it's worse than that, worse than that for the studios. But let's just be generous and let's say they get half the money, right? So if your production costs you 450 million to make the show, you're going to have to bank 900 million to break even. And at the moment, it's sitting at 305 million. They've lost about $600 million in this. And you can see here, it's going down. Like, it made 23 million here on Friday. Then the next Friday, it's down to 7 million. And then the next Friday, it's after 3 million. Like, and since then, 3, 4, 4, 1.5. Like, look at the red. This is since last week. Compare that to like Mission Impossible, for example, right? It's like making like $5 million or $16 million a day. Now, obviously, Mission Impossible needs to do a lot better as well to make money, but generally, Tom Cruise has better legs than Disney. But like you look at like Sound of Freedom, for example, right? The little indie film that could, and you look at this. This is bucking the trend. This is increasing since last week. Like, it's made $90 million worldwide. And that's just domestic markets. It cost them $15 million to make it. They've made more than their money back. I thought it was 5 originally. I heard today 15. So somewhere between 5 to 15. But you look at the trends here. This is bucking this is increasing over the weeks. And you go back to, the little diverse characters of Disney, and no one's going to go and watch. I won't say no one, but the vast majority of people aren't going to be interested in watching this shit. People are going to look at this and go, what the hell did you do to my show? And it's ironic because the same people that are sitting there saying, we need a diverse crowd to make our film and to make our movie are the same ones that saying they related to Snow White when they were a kid. This movie star, the bangable one, she turned around and she said that when she was a kid, she watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and she related to it. It made her want to grow up to be Snow White. So your whole argument is basically saying that we need diverse characters because we need to relate to them, even though we related to them back in the day when they weren't the same race as us. You're shooting your own argument in the foot. So if you can relate to Snow White as a kid when she's white and you're mixed race, why can't kids relate to Indiana Jones being a white male, or James Bond being a white male, or whatever it may be? Why do we need to race swap and gender swap characters then? But anyway. Jeff put in chat, commercial suicide, so no one will watch movies. Exactly right. We've already seen the box office take like massive hits over the past couple of years. Now they've always blamed that it's COVID, right? Oh, you know, no, it's COVID. Oh, it's COVID. No one wants to go and see a movie during COVID. Sure. But COVID's pretty much over and done with. You know, like Top Gun made $1 billion when COVID was still somewhat of a thing. You look at Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning is making $5 million a day. Elementals is making Elementals is making almost as much as Indiana Jones, and Elemental's been out for weeks. Here it is here. Look at it. And even that is doing bad. Elementals worldwide made $300 million. Holy dooly, that's bad. Because I know it costs a lot more than that to make it. But anyway, they'll keep banging their heads. And, you know, they'll keep putting out Snow White and diverse characters. No one will go and see it. But let us know what your comments let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Another is a video that was put out by Luke Wadowski from We Are Change. This is showing what some of the stores are going to now to try and stop people from stealing. Let's watch this. Everything is locked up. Everything is in. So everything is behind locks, shelving, and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, LA is obviously one of the major cities that's doing it. Retail shops lock up more items behind displays as shoplifting returns to pre-pandemic levels. Now this was back in March, this article here. Then we've got Target, for example. Viral TikTok shows Target San Francisco stores are going to extreme measures to deal or deter shoplifters, with an entire aisle locked up. So what was this put out? This was only put out a couple of weeks ago. A TikTok video has gone viral showing health and beauty aisles of Target in San Francisco mostly fully encased in glass as a countermeasure to prevent shoplifting. The locked display cases run the length of the aisles on both sides, with doors extending from the bottom shelves to the top. Merchandise on an end cap is also locked up, and a case appears to contain a long part of the back wall of the store. Then we've got Target. They may as well give each customer a personal employee to walk around with them. Target stores puts everything on locked shelves. So this happened just a couple of weeks ago. Recently, Target has claimed that it's dealing with a wave of shoplifting crimes in the San Francisco area. As a result, the store has taken measures to combat what it says is an alarming rise in theft. For more than a month, we've been experiencing a significant and alarming rise in theft and security incidences at our San Francisco store. Similar to reports from the other retailers in the area, a Target spokesperson told KPIX5. target is engaging local law enforcement, elected officials, and community partners to address the concerns. Who would have thought maybe reducing the threshold for prosecuting people for stealing might have been a bad idea? Because, let's just look that up. So, California Democrats have made thieves more and more brazen. So this was done. This was back in 21. Sorry, let's see if we can find something a little bit more recent. So here is the Hoover Institute. Why is shoplifting now de facto legal in California? Google shoplifting in San Francisco and you'll find more than 1,000 hits. 100,000, yeah. And you'll find lots of YouTube videos where you can watch a single thief or an entire gang walk into a Walgreens at San Francisco or a CSV and empty the shelves. Walking out through one of their right. So why we probably shouldn't call it shoplifting anymore, since that term connotes the idea of a person trying to conceal the crime. In San Francisco, there is no attempt to conceal theft, and there's almost never any effort by store employees, including security, to combat the threat or to confront the thieves. Mainly because if they do, they go to jail. Same here in Australia too. We have really, really stupid laws when it comes to security. Why is shoplifting so rampant? Because state laws state law holds that stealing merchandise worth $9,500 or less is just a misdemeanor, which means that law enforcement probably don't bother to investigate. Why won't stores employees do anything about the theft? Because they don't want to take the risk. No doubt many would, knowing that a Rat 8 employee was murdered recently trying to stop two thieves. Moreover, a confrontation within the store risks harming not only the store staff, but also customers. So they've changed the threshold for what it takes to be a misdemeanor compared to felony. And because of that, now obviously people are just going absolutely bonkers and stealing everything. Who would have thought? Huh? Weird, isn't it? But yeah, guys, this is what happens when you make it, more appealing to criminals. And it's mostly the Democrat cities where this stuff is happening. Like if you were to go to Florida, I imagine you would not see this sort of stuff. Actually, that'd be an interesting thing. Actually, Luke is in Florida. Get Luke to go down his local Walgreens in Florida, and we can compare the two aisles. I got to get some new boots in San Francisco. Yeah, they're really, really cheap. Yeah, it's they're practically giving them away. Who would have thought? But yeah, what do you do, right? It's at the end of the day is, well, yeah. All right, last story for the day is breaking. Michigan AG is charging 16 Trump supporters with felonies for providing alternative electors in the 2020 election. They're criminalizing being pro-Trump now. I do want to hear what Fry and Barnes have to say about this first. But at the end of the day, look, to be honest, to me, this is them trying to stop Trump from running. The main question people have to ask, whether you like Trump or you hate Trump, why are they so desperate to stop him from running? If Trump did nothing for the Americans, right? Let's just say he's as bad as the Democrats say that he is. Why are they trying to stop him from running? They don't. The system doesn't care about people, right? People always think the system's racist. It's not. It just hates everybody equally, right? It doesn't care about the battlers, the homeless, or anything like that. Hell, to be honest, it's better for them if you're living off government subsidies and government systems, right? Because you can be controlled. So, if he was as bad as the Democrats say, why are they going after? Why are they trying to stop him from running so badly? Now, the funny thing is that Trump has also said that he's going to go through and clean house when it comes to the Democrats and to the establishment. And actually, we can even go through and Trump admits to Trump will get revenge if elected. I think this was one of the stories. Saying things. I just thought I saw a cat. Alright, so Vanity Fair. It will be about revenge. It will be a revenge machine. Why a second Trump administration would be much worse. Worse for who is the question, right? Expected career officials purged and mega lawyerist in charge of Trump returns to the White House, warns Miles Taylor. The ex-DHS chief of staff spoke out as anonymous, though you literally named him, during the first term and in the excerpt from his book, Blowback, as a second alarm ahead of the 2024. Then we've got this from the Rolling Stone. Trump says he's entitled to revenge tour if he wins in 2024. The former president claims he wouldn't use the White House to punish his enemies, right, while saying it was his right to do the punishment of his enemies. Donald Trump is fueled by grievances. I wonder why. You've literally tried to make him a martyr. He's demonstrated time and time again that he holds grudges and that he'll use whatever power he has, legal, political, or gulp executive, to punish people that he feels wronged him. This is not making an argument for someone not to vote him. If people hate the government, right, and this is something that the left and right should agree on. If the lefties hate the government as much as they claim they do, you should be happy if Trump goes after the establishment. All these people running around going on about how the establishment is racist and the establishment is killing people and all that, right? If you believe that, you should be happy if he goes after the establishment, because that's what he's going to do. He's not going to go after the average home Joe Blow, whatever. He's going to go after the establishment. He's going to go after the career politicians, the unelected officials, and the people that are in the deep swamp. This is a reason for someone to vote for him, not the other way around. But these guys are establishment. So they do get it, but they're trying to make out that this is going to affect you. No, it's not. This is not going to affect the average home user. If anything, the average home user's life is probably going to get better because he's going to cut down on some of the bloat, right? It's like when Elon Musk took over Twitter. What did they claim? Oh, they claimed that Elon Musk was going to kill Twitter. I haven't seen Twitter down a single day since Elon Musk has taken over. And this is with him firing 75% of the workforce. So the question is, if he's fired 75% of the workforce and Twitter is still operational as much as it was when they were running it, what the hell were they doing? What did you need all of these coders and all these staff members? If you've managed to walk in and slash 75% of people's jobs and the app and the program and the site is still running as much as it used to and as good as it used to, and in fact now has more features than it used to, why did you give them a job? What were they doing? Sitting around eating coffee, drinking wine, having massages during the day? Makes you wonder, right? Here's another one. Trump vowing retribution. Yet, still more reasons for me to... I'm not American, but if I was, this would be a reason for me to vote for him. I'll be like, you want to take out the swamp? You want to take out the establishment? I'll sign up right now. How do I sign up? We got this one. Trump will be about revenge if he wins in 2024. Yet still more reason to vote for him. But obviously at the end of the day, it's ironic that they say stuff like Trump will go after his enemies, while meanwhile Michigan AG charges 16 GOP activists who claim to be electors in a bid for Trump. So the Michigan Attorney General filed forgery and other felony charges Tuesday against 16 Republican activists, in brackets, who signed papers after the 2020 election falsely indicating they were duly appointed presidential electors for the state. The case filed by the AG Dana Nelson, a Democrat, by the way, represents the first criminal charges related to efforts by allies of former President Donald Trump to designate alternative state electors. The scheme would ultimately become the basis for Trump's last-ditch bid to remain in power, an effort to create a contest or criticize when Congress met to tally up the Electoral College votes to clarify Biden's victory January 6th. Trump used extenses, whatever, of those competing state electors to presume his Vice President Mike Pence to block the election. So Trump is bad and is going to go after his enemies. Meanwhile, Biden is good for going after his enemies. Is that how you want me to see this? It kind of seems like it's, if one's bad, the other's bad. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I like I say, I want to hear what Barnes has to say about this. I'll wait for his video to come out, which will probably be today anyway. So we'll probably cover it tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I don't know if this is going to hold any merit. But this is all about them stopping Trump from running. And like I said, you really got to wonder why. Why are they so desperate to stop Trump from running in 2024? If he's such an easy guy to win, such an easy guy to beat, then at the end of the day, why are you so scared of him? And that would be my question. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Obviously, this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, we will see you in the next demonetized video tomorrow at the same time. Have a great night. Enjoy yourself.